Hello there, EKN Nation. This is Rob Howden. We are back here on the EKN Radio Network with another edition of This Week in Karting, episode number 12. It is August the 1st, 2019. We flipped the page on the calendar. We are into another month here of the 2019 season. And again, to remind you, This Week in Karting, a podcast that in which we kind of bring all the news that came from the EKN homepage, all the primary news of the sport, bring it into podcast form, perfect for listening on your way to work, on the way home, whatever it may be. David Cole, of course, joining me here. But let's get things underway. Again, This Week in Karting, presented today by CRG Nordam. If you want to drive the best, drive a CRG. After years of independent American importers, CRG Nordam is now managed directly by the factory and run out of their state-of-the-art headquarters in Texas. CRG Nordam is the American arm of the CRG factory in Italy, and they're serious about success. If you're ready to step up to the national level, do it with a factory race team that competes across the USA. CRG Nordam is a full factory effort with the best personnel and the finest equipment. We're serious about winning, and you should be too. So again, CRG Nordam, our presenting sponsor of this particular edition of This Week in Karting. David, welcome onto the podcast. I know we are slam busy right now. You've got some holiday time coming up next week, and then we're heading into the SCUSA Supernat or Summer Nats rather.
Yeah, I don't think there's a perfect time for vacation in any of the 12 months that we're racing because we can't do a Christmas vacation. Well, there's Daytona. We can't do one in November. Oh yeah, there's Supernats.
That's it, right?
October. Hey, Halloween's there.
October's pretty solid, but you can't go anywhere. You can't go to the beach.
Yeah,
in October.
Yeah, we're kind of limited here in Michigan. You know, you got June, July, and August, and
that's it.
And we keep trying to find a week in August that works. We just haven't been able to get away from the Summer Nationals there.
Yeah, this will work. You'll roll in on Friday morning to the Summer Nats. Alicia and I'll be down there early to rock up some social media. We're good to go. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. Numbers looking really good for the Summer Nationals. I think over 220 or something like that already pre-entered. Whatever it may be, they're looking at potentially getting to 250. So, Dave, we had this conversation every time we do this. This Week in Karting, it could easily be this month in karting because we're so busy to get this out. The last episode was July the 2nd, so essentially a month ago. So it is.
Well, I mean, as we kind of realized last week before I left to go to the USBKS finale, this month has gone by in a blur.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't think racing at the Brickyard helped because that took away a weekend, and then we were. You know, there was just so much going on. I forgot a number of editorial things that I wanted to get to in the month. You've been just on the road 3 of the 4 weekends. So it's just craziness. Thankfully, August will be a little bit better after we get through Summer Nats, and we'll be able to kind of focus a little bit more on getting more podcasts done because we'll be able to wrangle you a little bit better.
Yeah.
And that's really a part of it. It's just travel time. It takes away a lot of opportunities to record more of these podcasts.
This is my first weekend home. This particular weekend would be my first weekend home in 6 weeks because I was at Road America, and then I was in California, and then I did 4 in a row. I did Indy, and then Toronto, and then Amarillo, Texas, and I just got back from Mid-Ohio in the IndyCar event. So yeah, we're flying. And as people don't know this, but they understand it to a certain extent. When we go on a run like this, David, we're rolling on Thursday to a race. We get back on Monday. It's Tuesday, Wednesday in the office, and right back to the race again. So it's a lot of work. We end up putting in 12-hour days when we're home just to try to get caught back up. And as you said, lots of editorial happening. Not only the stuff that we're going to talk about here today on this episode of This Week in Karting, the news that really hit the homepage, but you've been working a lot as well on our own original editorial. You've got driver rankings coming out. You luckily got driver of the month, snuck that in for June, right at the end of July, but it's just crazy busy, right?
Yeah, well, I'll be a little bit more prepared going into August now that July just kind of happened with a snap of a finger, and
that's it.
And that's just basically what it is. Like, we knew what we wanted to do, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, it's July 22nd. Like we need we need to find some time to get this work done.
I hear you. All right, so you're the managing editor of ekartingnews.com. Let's get started. Let's knock about some of the news. And first of all, hello to anyone listening, of course, on the EKN Radio Network. If you've downloaded the app to your mobile device, that is awesome. Hopefully you're listening on the way home from work. We're going to get this thing out, or to work, either or. Morning commute or afternoon drive home, either or. We appreciate you having the EKN Radio Network downloaded to your phone. Of course, all of the content we put on the EKN Radio Network eventually becomes downloadable podcasts on iTunes, and of course, we have it on the website as well. If you don't have it downloaded to your phone, ekartingnews.com/radio gives you the 24/7, 365 feed. All right, David, we got a bunch of we got three pages here. Let's start rocking some of the stuff that made it to the homepage on EKN.
Well, as we look ahead to this coming weekend, obviously this will be on the radio on Friday. There's still a chance to take part in an upcoming event, the Stars and Stripes Open. That's happening this weekend. We saw a number of releases come out in the last couple of weeks for the event. Obviously, it's going to be a big North American event for the Rotax power plant and J3 competition hosting the event. They've been able to sign Capri Tools and Unipro as corporate partners for the event and for the program long term. So it's good to have that outside partnership coming in to be able to work with events such as this.
As well, adding a Briggs 206 category. $500 to win, running on the Mojo D2 tire. As you said, David, you can still, if people are listening to this on a Friday and you want to go racing, $500 to win, Briggs 206 at the Stars and Stripes Open, $75 per driver entry at the track. I dig that. That's cool.
No, really cool. If I wasn't going on vacation, I thought about putting a cart in the back of the dad's pickup truck, making a 6-hour drive down, and sleeping. Pull in Saturday morning, sleep at the track, and then drive home Sunday night.
We got the bug again, don't we? That race at Brickyard. I know it's fired me up. I got a chance to race at Amarillo as well, but you want to get back behind the wheel.
I was just going to say you went two races in 3 weekends. I got back to Newcastle for the first time at a race since we were at Brickyard, and it was killing me. Not to be out there.
Yeah, and well, you're not that far away. You're a month away from running at Rock Island, and of course, I won't get back behind the wheel. I think probably until we run the Cup Karts North America race at the first week of October, the Grand Nationals. Now, just to add a little bit to the Stars and Stripes, those of you who are tuning in, be on the lookout for a podcast with Justin Stefani. Obviously, J3 Competition, the new importer in the northern half of the U.S., RTX Group in the southern half, but the new importer for Rotax, and they've been doing some great stuff. They're focused on kind of grassroots and regional racing and just trying to support where Rotax already is, make sure that some of the areas that run tag have some Rotax presence. I love what they're doing. And of course, the couple of races, the Stars and Stripes Trophy, the Stars and Stripes Open, an opportunity for North Americans to get that ticket to head back to, of course, what is one of the greatest events in the sport here on the globe, and that's the Rotax Grand Finals. New name for that. Is there a new name for it? No, the Rock Cup changed their name, right, Dave?
Yeah, no, it's still Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals. Still, I keep telling people, they're asking me this past weekend about, how the Stars and Stripes Open was coming up. Yep. And I thought, there'd be a number of Canadians coming down. I know they have some international drivers, Alex Powell, Jamaican, who has been racing up over in Europe throughout the season. He's coming back to the United States to race, so he's going to be part of the Stars and Stripes Open as well. I believe Brent Cruz will be there. So there's a lot of, he's a Rotax Grand Finals champion. So there's going to be a lot of competition there throughout this weekend. So it should be exciting. And just again, talking about it, a lot of praises on the engine. I think they've gotten they've gotten it down to where it's very raceable. It's great engine to drive. And so it should be an exciting weekend.
And I was messaging with Justin Stefani just a couple of days ago and yesterday, actually. And again, we will have a podcast. We're going to try to line up an interview. We tried to do it earlier, but he was at a race and I was at a race and we couldn't kind of get everything together. But again, he tells me he's pretty happy. They're looking at potentially 70 to 80 Rotax entries this coming weekend, which is great. And again, they're resetting this program, right? They're pressing the reset button on this deal. They've got a lot of great initiatives that they're putting in place for 2020 and 2021. So look for good things to come out of the Rotax camp. J3 competition, bottom line is whatever they do it 100% pro. And the way they're approaching Rotax is, I think, the way it needs to happen. And we'll talk more about that when I get a chance to sit down with Justin on what will be an Industry Insider podcast coming up sometime in August for sure. David, big news coming out of the SuperKarts USA camp as well. Summer Nationals next weekend. So Pro Tour, the finale, kind of the focus, but they're not done yet. We're a couple months away from the Super Nationals. Registration closes for the Summer Nats on Sunday night, but Super Nats registration is open now as well, and they came out and dropped some pretty cool news about the Pro Shifter category.
Yeah, the priority pre-entry program has already wrapped up, and registration now is open to the public. And they came out yesterday and today with some big news about the prize package a little bit for the Super Nationals, with the Pro Shifter category getting elevated to once again being a headline category and offering up the same cash purse that the KZ category is typically seen. We still don't have the amounts confirmed yet. SCUSA did not release the numbers, but if I recall correctly, I believe it was, I thought it was it 10 or it might have been $5,000 to win, one or the other. But
I think it's 10,000 to win.
We're still waiting. Yeah, we're still waiting to get the specifics. They didn't exactly have the specifics amounts given to us. But yeah, so that's going to be a cool deal. And again, a $10,000 bonus to any driver who's able to win KZ and Pro Shifter. So both those two categories are going to be among the headliners, along with X30 Senior as well. So we'll have the three headline categories once again. But really, what really is their focus is getting people on board with this Pro Shifter program, and they're working with the IME factory to really put in a cool engine lease program.
Yeah. So again, obviously in years past and for many, many years, we've had the stock Honda being the primary engine at the Super Nationals. This year, Pro 1, Pro Shifter 1, Pro Shifter 2, it's G1 and G2, I believe, are all going to be, which is the Masters category, and Super Masters is all going to be on the IAME SSE 175 engine. So obviously, we're seeing people pick it up. They've got good numbers in Pro 1 and Pro 2 this coming weekend at the Summer Nats, but they're going to have 36 engines available on an engine lease program for the Super Nationals. $1,500 rental. And that $1,500 will also count towards the purchase of an engine if you do want to end up getting the engine. But David, pretty cool deal. The IME factory will be there. The concept is, if you haven't driven it, you want to come to the Super Nats, here's an engine rental program. We're going all IME 175 in the shifter car categories other than KZ. So I think it's going to be solid. I think we're going to see some pretty good numbers across the board.
Man, it sounds very familiar to what I want to see them do with Mini Swift and Micro Swift.
You do. I know you do. Yep.
But it really, what this does, as you said, it gets people who haven't been part of the Pro Shifter, or as you said, G1 throughout the season. Gives them the opportunity to come and try it, and they don't have to invest that full amount in purchasing a full engine, and they can get it directly through SCUSA and IAME USA West. So it's definitely a great program to help jumpstart that for the 2020 season. Really is, I think, what they're focusing on with that.
Agreed. Yep, exactly. Now visit IAMEUSAWest.com if you want more information on that engine rental. Going from one part of the, kind of one area of the sport, the stark contrast, you go from Super Nats to actual club racing back to Briggs & Stratton. And David, they came out with essentially clarification on their 206 rule set in terms of clutches and some official clutches. Right?
Yeah, I think we need to race a little bit more to understand, really how much of the technology that's going into the progression of the Briggs 206 engine package. Because as me and you have done over the last 5-6 years now that we've been doing it, we basically just take it out of the box and put it on the cart, and we're gone. We haven't dealt too much with dealing with different types of clutches or carburetor maintenance and situations like that. But it seems to be that obviously in racing, people are always trying to find the edge and find the limits, and I think Briggs has understand that certain clutches that have been put out on the market don't exactly meet their OEM standards that they've kind of set the program at. And again, they're an engine manufacturer, so they haven't really told you what you can and what you can't do, but other than setting guidelines. And I think some people have pushed beyond the guidelines, and now they're looking to set a approved clutch list to make sure that the clutch area of the engine package still remains of an affordable area of where people aren't getting priced out of the class, really.
The simple thing is this. The Briggs & Stratton 206 program is designed to be affordable motorsports. We know what it's done for the sport. It has absolutely re-solidified the bottom of the pyramid, the foundation. People are racing 206s everywhere. People are coming back into the sport who have been out for a while because it's affordable. So the bottom line is that Briggs and their rule set, which needs to be used around the country, it's up to them, I think, to be in kind of, I don't say in charge, but they're kind of the guardians of this program, right? This concept. So you can't have a $600 motor and an $800 clutch or even a $500 clutch. The idea is to keep the clutch price, everything low. It's not like you're putting, you have to put new tires on every race. The concept is to keep this thing affordable. And the funny thing is, rule sets and organizations, I think one of their biggest things they have to do is guard the sport against itself. Because we all know that engine builders get in there and they want to start, charging $500, $600, $700 to prep a motor that essentially can be raced out of the box. And then same thing with clutches. Guys are trying to find a clutch somewhere, retrofit it for karting, and then it ends up being $300 or $400. And then people are going to try to open the door to disc clutches. And that's not what this program's all about. That's my belief, at least.
Well, yeah, it's, as you said, I think guardian is a good word. It is up to the responsibility of the organizations. I think we saw USAC Karting backing up Briggs & Stratton with this clutch clarification. I believe WKA is behind it as well. So I don't think there's anybody backing away from what Briggs & Stratton has set out for this clutch clarification. But the problem is, there's people that, and again, this is something we need to research a little bit more. People are claiming that they're going through a clutch in a one weekend. And I don't find that to be a problem, because it's something I haven't heard from a lot of racers. We aren't hearing, that was something we heard a lot with Yamahas, with the disc clutch there. We heard guys were working on them after every session, essentially. Other than, I think, when you go to a track like we did at Brickyard, where there's that really tight hairpin and you're almost down to a complete stop, I think that kind of does do a little bit more wear and tear on your clutches. And so we had people talking about replacing their clutch after each day last year. I don't really think that was an issue this year. I know me and you we didn't even touch our clutches at all throughout the weekend. So, so I again, maybe it boils down to people not having the right maintenance, or just people not installing the clutch correctly. That's also another situation that could be the issue as well. So it's just, we still need to get more information on this and get more kind of racers feedback as to the stability of certain clutches that are on the market today.
Yep, I agree with you. All right, folks, there's our first segment of This Week in Karting, episode number 12. David Cole, myself, Rob Howden, providing the news that made it to the homepage at eKarting. August the 1st, the date here right now. We get into a new month. A lot of great racing still to come. After this break, we're going to start talking about the Rock Island Grand Prix. Stay with us. More to come here on This Week in Karting. In a sport where the difference between winning and losing is measured in hundredths of a second, you can't afford to leave anything on the table. You invest in the best equipment, the latest components, and top-of-the-line data acquisition systems. Anything to find one more tenth, right? I'll tell you right now, the best investment you could ever make is in yourself. If you want to improve your results, it's time for professional instruction and coaching at the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy. Located at the new state-of-the-art Speed Sports Racing Park just north of Houston, the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy uses the very best equipment, Burrell Art Carts. They offer half-day, 1-day, 2-day, and 3-day clinics. They have a one-on-one student-to-instructor ratio, and they will design a customized curriculum for each student. Alan Rudolph is one of the most respected people in the sport, and he has nearly 20 years' experience training drivers, including Chase Elliott, Neil Albarico, Austin Versteeg, and Sabre Cook, and rising stars like Pietro Fittipaldi. Train with a champion with almost 30 years of racing experience to get proven results. Start off your season with a driver tune-up. Tune up your season with some driver coaching. Or get ready for the big races by training with the best. Reserve your dates now by calling 866-607-RACE. That's 866-607-7223. For more information, visit speedsportsracingpark.com/racing-academy. The shift is on to a new brand and a new way of thinking. Mad Old Nut Racing and Croc Promotion USA are focused on changing the paradigm when it comes to race teams in this sport. And the goal is to support dedicated young racers by giving them the tools and opportunities to succeed. Originally born as Mad Croc, the new branding is Croc Promotion, and Armando Fellini's product continues its dedication to quality and innovation. Croc Promotion USA is the American importer and distributor, and Mad Old Nut Racing is the official race team. We're ready to attack in 2019, and our race results speak for themselves. AJ Myers swept the first 4 Winter Series shifter kart races of the year, and Andrew Bedozzo continues to assert himself as an emerging player. Croc Promotion has momentum. Dedicated and talented young drivers, supported and mentored by team owners who know business and who are passionate about karting. That's Croc Promotion USA. That's Mad Old Nut Racing. Search for us on social media and give us a follow.
For over a century, Briggs & Stratton has had a commitment and passion for racing. It's a DNA found in every engine we build today. So whether you kart race, Baja, race quarter midgets, or believe that dirt and snow are just God's way of adding to the challenge, the dedicated spirit of every Briggs & Stratton employee stands at the fence waiting for the green flag to drop. Briggs & Stratton Racing. What powers you?
Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network. Rob Howden alongside David Cole. This Week in Karting, episode number 12. Perfect for listening on the way to work or on the way home. Hopefully you've got things dialed in with the mobile device, got you up on the radio. David, let's jump into some more news about the Rock Island Grand Prix. For the first time, this is the 25th year of this event. Minor track changes here for this particular edition.
Yeah. It's funny because I saw the release and it kind of made me cringe a little bit, but they did announce that they're going to look at turns 1 and turn 5. There's obviously certain bumps in both of those corners that, they've asked the city to try and repair these certain sections of the racetrack. Well, I don't think the city's really behind the event as we've seen other street races, but to where the fact that they'll actually do something to the pavement. So they've talked about bringing they're bringing the apexes out a little bit away from where it's been, which in turn will help narrow the entries into each of these corners down a bit. But they're also looking at expanding the outside of the racetrack so that way the width of the race course still remains about the same as what it used to be. Talking with some people, it's unless you're really there, you don't realize how narrow or how wide certain areas of the racetrack really are. So it's going to be one of those things. We're going to stand there probably Friday night, having a few drinks, checking to see. Just checking to see how in fact they do build the track, because again, everything's built after 5 p.m. on Friday, Labor Day weekend. The city streets get shut down, and that's when they move everything in, and then they start building the racetrack overnight. I mean, in less than 12 hours, essentially, they have this racetrack built, which is in that feat alone is phenomenal. But I think we'll be paying a little bit more attention to these 2 turns for sure.
Yeah, I look forward to, of course, I'll be in Portland with the IndyCar and the Road to Indy crew. I look forward to seeing the social media that you got up. I'm sure that you'll take some video and give people a little look, maybe a little Facebook Live video for those that want to have a look at the racetrack. Rock Island also coming up with some adjustments, David, to the weights of the shifter kart categories. In the King of the Streets Open Shifter, those two categories, stock Honda going to run at 380. The Rock and the Open Honda, Mod Honda's at 390, KZ at 400, and the IAME SSC 175 at 410 pounds. I'm expecting this is kind of a transition off of what we saw with performance at the Brickyard race.
Well, they wanted to bring in the 175. Obviously, a lot of racers are in the Midwest have moved over to that, but you still have to provide the KZ. And to be honest, people keep saying the stock Honda at the 380-pound weight could be the ticket, because we've seen the stock Honda win there, I believe 2017, or was that not win, but it was at least the fastest kart on the racetrack. So there's still talk that could be the quickest way. And for some of the smaller drivers, it might be the best option because that's 30 pounds less than the 175. So 30 pounds less weight on the kart might be a little bit quicker rather than that extra 50 cc's that you get there.
So I mentioned the weights in the King of the Streets and the Open Shifter categories. For Master Shifter, it's 395 for stock Honda. The Rock and the Open Honda at 405, KZ at 415, and IAME SSE 175 at 425. Stock Honda, as David said, in the stock Honda categories, same as it will be for King of the Streets and Open Shifter at 380 pounds. David, 17 classes in total for this year's Rock Island Grand Prix, plus the Vintage Race Group as well.
Yeah, they have that new CIK Briggs 206 class. So those who do not like adding the big, massive G-Man nose piece on front of their karts, and as we see a lot of the programs now getting rid of that body work at a lot of the number of local clubs and regional series. So they now just have a strict CIK Briggs 206 class. So that's a new addition. They've added a second Ignite Senior category. So you can run Ignite 3 different times if you're a Masters driver. So you can run both seniors and a Masters class. I believe that's the only 2 additions. I believe KA100 is the other addition too. Or not, maybe not KA100. Is
another podcast to look forward to, and we'll ask him all the questions. Is Roger Ruthart from the Rock Island Grand Prix? We're going to try to get him on next week to potentially have that come out either next week or the week after.
Yeah, KA100 senior added. Yep.
There you go, David, locking it down. All right, the USPKS, David, wrapped up. You were there at Newcastle Motorsports Park for the Hoosier Grand Prix, but Mark Coach and the crew still rolling with the Route 66 program, and they've, I think, made a pretty major move based on looking at the numbers they've had throughout the season, right?
Yeah, it was a really huge regional program for Yamaha Racing. I think the senior category 2 years ago was getting an average of 30 drivers. Unfortunately, everybody moved over to the KA100 engine package, and already a lot of the junior drivers had moved over to KA as well. So the Yamaha numbers have dropped dramatically, and to the point of there were only 2 Yamaha junior drivers and no senior drivers at the last event. So they have decided to end those categories at the series and have added Briggs 206 Cadet, junior and senior for the final 2 events of the season.
Your thoughts on that?
Well, they're going to do a discounted rate, which I think helps. A lot of people, Briggs racers do not like the higher entry fees, especially when you have to go to a spec tire, which for this program will be MG tires. You can run either new or used, and they provide either red, blue, or orange compounds. So you have a variety of different tires you can use. So it just depends on if you have them in the garage or not, or can get a cheap set used or even a cheap new set. So I think that'll be crucial. I think what it'll do is it'll allow some of these racers who might have a spare chassis laying around in any of the IAME categories to just pull out a Briggs 206 and race that as well. So
that's my thought.
I think you'll see a number of double dippers in the cadets and juniors, but we'll have to see what the senior categories provide. Maybe just some guys who are local racers, or just looking for a race on that weekend.
Yeah, if you're looking for more information, it's route66kartracing.com. 2 more races still on the docket for them for this year. August 16th to 18th at Concept Haulers Motor Speedway in Illinois, and then at Midstate Car Club on September 20 to 22. Last 2 dates, and again, as David said. Briggs 206, 3 different groups, cadet, junior, and senior, added to that Route 66 Sprint Series. David, let's cap off this particular segment. WKA decided to have a little fun. They've opened up a cover contest for the tech manual. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, any WK member who has an artistic mind or maybe a Photoshop ability to manage some photos and some graphics and other things, and want to submit a cover, a possible cover for the 2020 tech manual, has the ability to do that. The winner will be selected at the Board of Trustees meeting on September 4th after the August 31 deadline. The winner is to be announced on October 1st. And basically the winner is going to get a 45th anniversary of Daytona Kart Week prize package. That's going to include entry, no matter how many classes you are in. So it could be a road racer who's going to race every single race group out there.
Wow, that's pretty solid. 2
pit passes, one for the driver and one for your guest or mechanic. Obviously a t-shirt, and then a little recognition award that they'll be able to have as a momentous occasion of being the cover designer.
That's cool. I like that. That's a cool deal. Just something to get the WK membership fired up a little bit. It'd be interesting to see who they end up picking, what kind of designs end up getting shown at for the board of trustees. All right, folks, another break here in the action. This is, again, episode number 12 of This Week in Karting. It's August the 1st. Our last podcast for This Week in Karting was at the very start of July, so essentially this month in karting, but we're going to keep calling it This Week in Karting. Hopefully we can do more and more of these. When David and I get back, we're going to talk about 2020, because we're going to start chatting about the upcoming Challenge of the Americas. They released their dates and venues. We'll go over them when we get back after this quick break. Hey racers, this is Rob Howden, and I'm super excited to be back with the Texas Pro Kart Challenge family this year. After kicking off the season in Denton in March, and having just wrapped up our annual trip to Amarillo, it's time to get the final Texas PKC date on your personal calendar, and I'll see you there. We'll cap off the season on the September 13th, 14th, 15th weekend at the beautiful Speed Sports Racing Park in Houston. The track is the jewel of Texas karting, and you need to experience it for yourself. It's 2 full days of racing on Saturday and Sunday for Mini and Micro Swift, Briggs 206 Senior and Masters, KA100 Junior and Senior, X30 Junior, Senior and Master, Stock Honda Senior and Master, and of course, Pro Shifter. For information on how to register for the Texas Pro Kart Challenge finale at Speed Sports, visit TexasProKartChallenge.com. Are you in need of a podium-proven Briggs 206 chassis? If you answered yes, check out the 2019 Margay Ignite K3 and Brava 206 packages manufactured in St. Louis, Missouri, right here in the USA. The Margay chassis has been racking up 206 podiums on the club and regional level, most recently at big 4-stroke programs such as the AMR Homestead Miami Speedway, Texas Pro Kart Challenge, Texas Sprint Racing Series, Atlanta Motorsports Park, the Quincy Grand Prix, and the Gateway Kartplex. The best part about purchasing a Margay racing chassis is that everything can be ordered custom, including frame color, decal color, and logo placement. Choose to purchase as a roller, kit, or race ready. With a race ready package, just unbox the cart, add gas, oil, and go. Need factory support? Margay Racing is just a call or email away with technical support or setup tips. Interested in renting a kart at one of the biggest karting events this summer? Check out Margay Racing Spec Ignite class and their Arrive and Drive packages to be part of the 25th running of the Rock Island Grand Prix this coming Labor Day weekend. For more information, please visit margay.com or call 800-562-7429 today. Rotax is officially back in America, and J3 Competition is the iconic brand's new importer and distributor for the northern half of the United States. With a focus on top-notch customer service and unparalleled product support, J3 Competition is excited to work with club and regional series to build the Rotax community in the tag categories. They're promoting a pair of special events this year to provide opportunities for their racers to win tickets to the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals in Italy, the sport's most talked about global event. The Stars and Stripes Trophy and the Stars and Stripes Open events will feature J3 Competition's trademark professionalism, as well as the popular engine raffle program to provide a completely level playing field. With tickets to this year's Grand Finals up for grabs, they look forward to seeing everyone at the trophy event in May in Utah and for the Open in August at Pit Race. Rotax is a leader in two-cycle technology, and J3 Competition brings over 75 years of experience to the brand here in the United States. Check out the new Rotax USA program at racerotax.com. Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network. Rob Howden alongside David Cole for another edition of This Week in Karting. David, there was a little bit of conflicts last year with the schedules. I was only able to get to one Challenge of the Americas race. You were able to get to two, but you missed one as well. Hopefully things will settle down. SCUSA coming out with all their dates. Challenge of the Americas locking theirs in as well. So that program, Andy Saisman's program, looking like there'll be no conflicts for us this year, which is nice.
I hope so.
That's true. You're not done yet.
We still have a lot of things going on, but the way that Andy was able to map out his schedule for 2020 season looks to be a winner in our books. It's going to start in January and actually end in March, because typically we've always ended in April. With the way the calendar and holidays shaped out, it was always ending in April. This year, he's going to end in March, but it's going to be the same three facilities that we went to in 2019.
Yeah, January 24 to 26, Musselman Honda Circuit in Tucson, rounds number 3 and 4. February the 21st to 23rd at Cal Speed Karting Center in Fontana. And then March 27th, 28th, 29th that David just mentioned, kind of coming back a weekend into the tail of March at Sim Raceway Performance Karting Center in Sonoma. All in all, David, the move from Rotax to ROK a couple of years ago, they had about a 20% increase in total entries in 2018. It's good to see that program solidifying again, making a big move like that, actually changing your absolute engine platform into something different. They stepped right out of Rotax, had pretty much the same numbers on ROK. Good growth this year. You've got to expect that they're going to see another 10 to 20% in 2020.
I think so, because we've seen the numbers and shifters switch and grow. And I think the one area that he really wants to focus growth on is the junior and senior, and especially the micro division. He saw growth in the micro division this year, where we had 3 drivers last year, and we actually had over 7 drivers this year. So it's good growth. So that's kind of where the focus is getting the single speed categories to kind of get back up to where they kind of were before, everything went to the negative.
I had a chance to have a lot of fun as well at the Sonoma race, running in the 100cc Masters category. They had a good number of seniors. We had 3 Masters at that race. Ideally we'll see that springboard to 5 or 6 or 7 Masters guys next year. But the 100cc program, which last year ran with both the ROK VLR 100 and the IAME KA 100, offering both of them to be able to chance to race together. I like the fact that they're going to probably see some growth in that area too, which is cool.
I agree completely. Yeah. And it's, again, I'm looking forward to going back. So 2012 was our first year. So it's been a great long-term relationship with Andy and his crew. And it's just, it's our West Coast family.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Maybe we'll see if we can't get you in one of the VLR 100s this time around. You'd like that. It's fun.
Yeah, but Tucson might be the best bet. I'd like to drive that one.
I would too. That's a track I'd really like to try out. Maybe we'll practice on Friday. We'll see. On the other side of the coin for Andy Saisman, of course, FTK Promotions is the promoting entity for the series, Challenge of the Americas. Full Throttle Karting, the FTK, is actually still probably one of the only brick and mortar shops in California now. I'm not sure how many brick and mortars are still around. Got to be less than a dozen, maybe just around there. But anyways, Andy's got Full Throttle Karting, and some news for Andy as well, bringing on a new chassis brand for FTK. Yeah,
it's a great combination. You're going to add, you're going to have Andy Saisman, an industry veteran, formerly a great racer, not so much anymore now, but Sorry, I had to throw him under the bus.
Wow. All right.
But knows exactly what to do and how to get karts going as quick as they should be. You combine him with Gary Carlton and the new GFC chassis. That combination now is put together with Seisman now becoming the newest dealer for the chassis model. Two models include the SS31 for tag racing and the GT14 towards shifter karts. So it's going to be probably a lot more GFC chassis roaming around in the Southern California area.
Yeah, and under the FTK tent as well. They've been longtime Burrell dealers and adding the GFC, which is cool. Gary Carlton's program, of course, continuing to grow. All right, David, it's almost time to wrap up this particular edition of This Week in Karting and this podcast. Folks, stay with us. When we come back, we're going to chat with you about some of the editorial we've had on EKN, a review of the podcast, and we'll talk about what's coming up on the EKN radio network as well. You've heard the term bucket list. In karting, it refers to the Rock Island Grand Prix. The world's largest street race for karting will host its 25th edition this coming Labor Day weekend, and you owe it to yourself to be there. The Rock Island Grand Prix lands on the weekend of August 30 and September 1, and everyone in the Mississippi River City is ready to welcome grassroots racers as well as some of the best shifter kart drivers from North America to their home race. A total of 17 race groups are set to tackle the city streets of Rock Island, Illinois over 2 full days of exciting competition. The volunteer-based committee and their passionate crew turns their streets into a racing festival overnight as drivers compete for the coveted Rock Trophy. Categories range from the popular Briggs 206, Margay Ignite, and Yamaha classes to tag, KA100, shifter divisions, and the famed King of the Streets main event. It's the most fun you can have on and off the track. It's the Rock Island Grand Prix. Learn more by visiting rockislandgrandprix.com. And if you're a passionate kart racer, it's time to cross this one off your bucket list. Joining the Rawlson Performance Group is the obvious choice to take your racing to the next level. Industry-leading driver development is provided by our staff of multi-time national champions, Super Nationals winners, and former Team USA members. And at the same time, RPG continues to be a national-level powerhouse race team. Our goal is to help you raise your game and win races. Rawlson Performance Group is setting a new standard with our in-house engine program, AVP Engines, headed by Alex Vincent. AVP has become the benchmark in the IAME X30 categories. We have the largest trackside OTK inventory, providing parts to racers and teams at all the major events in North America. RPG can also offer multilingual support, as we have French and Portuguese-speaking staff. If you want to fight for championships or want to improve your skills and your chances to win, the answer is to call RPG at 503-260-4514. The Rawlson Performance Group. We race to win. Powered by technology, DID racing chains have a worldwide reputation for superior quality and reliability. Meticulously engineered and manufactured in Japan, DID genuine parts are the world's #1 original parts supplier for Japanese and European motorcycle manufacturers. A rich racing tradition where results speak for themselves, DID prides itself on engineering the most technologically advanced chains on the market to help you excel on and off the track. DID's SDH pin treatment creates an extremely hard chromium carbide layer on the pin surface that houses a soft inner core to absorb extreme shock loads. DID's 219 HTZ racing chain boasts this SDH pin technology, which leads to longer chain life as well as excellent energy transmission to the wheels. Available in the gorgeous gold, the 219 HTZ is the ultimate racing kart chain. Pick up a DID chain at your local dealer today, because when winning is the only thing that matters, go with DID. Welcome back to episode 12 of This Week in Karting, the podcast where David Cole and I get a chance to kind of talk to you about all the stuff that happened, all the stuff that was put on the homepage at ekartingnews.com. Call it a synopsis of all the major news in the sport. The idea is to go weekly with this. We've been going monthly. We'll do what we can to start firing up the frequency a little more. But David, we're back. Let's talk a little bit about the EKN editorial. You mentioned earlier how absolutely slammed we were. July blowing through like it was nothing. I was on the road for 4 straight weekends, made it tough for us to come out with a lot of podcasts. It's going to be the same when I get rolling here in August. SummerNat starts another 4 race run for me, but we got a lot of editorial coming out. You were cranking like crazy getting editorial up on the website.
Lots of race reports, and we were, as you said, trackside a lot. So we had recently, the most recent was USPKS Newcastle. So we have the full trackside live program there, along with your trip to Amarillo with the Texas Pro Kart Challenge. We also published a Route 66 Sprint Series event from Road America, California Pro Kart Challenge from Monterey, and of course we began the month with Battle at the Brickyard. So lots of racing there. I added From the Pagoda from the Battle of the Brickyard. You had a morning coffee that also covered the Battle of the Brickyard as well too.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about how much fun that we had there. Just such a great event. I just love the way that event's come together. The 3rd year of it. Excited to find out when the date's going to be for 2020. Hopefully, crossing my fingers, you and I'll be able to go back again because we had so much fun. And again, just a lap around. The lap, as they call it, around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 4 corners. But for me, it was just, and I know we both talked about it, Dave, was just to get that visual. Out of 4. The first thing you do is come across the bricks. That was super cool. And I realized that I wasn't even looking at the bricks when I was coming across because I was given the high sign to Jason Burgess. And then I realized that you actually beat me to the bricks too. I should have punched the throttle a little bit.
I don't know. The video is inconclusive, I think. Yeah.
Really? Well, there's a photo out there that looks like you're across it.
Yeah. Well, again, I guess it depends on the angle of which you're looking at that.
All right. But yeah, we're looking forward to that. And of course, we cranked out a bunch of editorial, a lot of social media when we were there as well. I did double duty. Actually, I did triple duty. You ended up doing triple duty as well because you ran one day you ran the main events in Ignite Senior, Ignite Master, and of course our 2.
Yeah, I was smart. I waited till Sunday to do it. You did it on Friday, which was the most busiest and hottest day that they had.
I was so tired. I'll need to be in better shape for next year, and I will be. I guarantee it. You were able to sneak in our June Driver of the Month right here at the end of July. We probably just totally forgot about it to a certain extent, but we sat down, looked over the candidates, and you and I selected to go with Jeff Dolian, who had a fantastic weekend at the Quincy Grand Prix at Quincy in the Park. Plus, he scored a victory in a kart road race as well. So good on Jeff Dolian, veteran driver, Masters driver in the Margay Ignite program and running in other programs as well on the Margay. Very deserving driver of the month.
Very deserving. And one of our competitors when we were at Battle of the Brickyard, he came in there as a 2-time winner from last year in both Ignite categories, unable to defend either of those races, but still was one of the top drivers throughout the weekend in all the 4 categories that he raced.
I actually was able to do a one-on-one kind of kicking off our coverage and support of the Rock Island Grand Prix. I did a quick interview with Roger Ruthart. I had mentioned before that we're going to have a podcast coming as well. And David, we actually had a really cool article with Chloe Chambers as well. That was a really cool deal.
Yeah, she provided some great words on her involvement with the My Next Guest Needs No Introduction, which is the Netflix show featuring David Letterman. I still haven't been able to watch it, but one of his guests happened to be Lewis Hamilton, and so they were able to contact Chloe and another karter to kind of get the insight on what karting is, because they wanted to really go into Lewis's background on how he got into motorsports. So it was a good column, but again, I still need to watch the show to really see how it was included in the overall scheme of things.
I need to do the same thing. Letterman was actually at Mid-Ohio this past weekend supporting Graham Rahal and Bobby Rahal, of course, a part team owner in the Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing program. But yes, I need to watch that as well. I watched half of one, I think, with Kanye West. I didn't watch the end of it. I think I fell asleep. So I'll watch more of that for sure. Tell us what we got coming though, Dave. You got a lot of editorial that I know you're working on.
Yeah, as you said, we're going to have the driver rankings here coming up next week. We're going to have Faces of the Grid featuring Mike Geeson. That's going to be penned by Blake Hunt. our guest columnist that has been providing us with some good insight over the last few months. And then we're going to look at some product spotlights. We're going to hit some helmet manufacturers, and we're going to go after some other karting manufacturers that have a good niche, good quality products that they provide just for the karting market.
Yeah, you're gonna see some essentially the helmet lineups from Stilo USA and Bell. We're going to have some product spotlights as well for Odenthal Manufacturing, for DID Chain, a couple of different manufacturers that have worked with us in some of the projects that we've got working on. So look for that coming as well soon. David, we always say your job description at eKarting News has been evolving over the last 16 years. Again, 16 years with EKN. That's amazing. I appreciate it. I love having you as part of the family. But man, it's changing, isn't it? Because at one point we worked on stuff for the magazine, Supercard Illustrated, Shifter Card Illustrated. Then we transitioned to EKN. It's all about the written word coverage. And now you do. I wonder how much of the work you do is actually focused on the EKN radio network and all of our podcasts.
What is DJ now my main title? Like, am I DJ or my audio engineer? I could be an audio engineer with all the live stuff that we do.
Yeah, true. You're like a station manager.
Audio editor. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it. Yeah, yesterday I spent 2 hours going through the live broadcasts that we had at Newcastle, getting those main events ready to go. So they're playing today on the EKN Radio Network. But we didn't get too many podcasts over the month of July because, as we said, we were a little bit busy. So all we had really were This Week in Karting, our episode 11 from July 2nd, or not July 2nd. Yeah, July 2nd. And the EKN debrief that is going up today, available for podcasts. So that's from the Texas Pro Kart Challenge. Those are the only two podcasts we got in the month of July, but we got more coming up. Next week, we'll obviously have the EKN debrief, USPKS, and we'll have this episode as well.
Yeah. On the EKN Radio Network, again, folks, the upcoming shows you're going to see on our 24/7, 365 kart racing radio station. We've got, of course, the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour. You're going to roll out the Summer Nats again, last year's Summer Nats?
We'll do winter Nats, we'll do spring Nats from this year, and then we'll probably roll out 2018 summer Nats. So we got 3 full days of SCUSA stuff, and then hopefully we'll be able to get that industry insider with Roger Ruthart done for next week, if not the week after.
And again, we keep talking about trying to do a roundtable, but we kind of have to be at the same place at the same time and not absolutely busy. I've got a couple people that have messaged us kind of cool concepts for roundtable topics. One of them being testing, pre-event testing. We'll throw this out there, folks. If you've got an idea for a roundtable discussion of something you think a topic that we should bring some people in on, some industry heavy hitters, bring them in to discuss it, send us a message. We'd love to hear from it. Feel free to put it on social as well. We'd love to get any kind of input on what you'd like to hear when we start rolling out some roundtable discussions. Otherwise, David, let's cap things off here, man. We're done. Coming up on the EKN Radio Network and on EKN itself, rather. Again, SuperKarts USA Pro Tour Summer Nationals, August 9th, 10th, and 11th from Newcastle Motorsports Park in Newcastle, Indiana. David, myself, Alicia Hodap, we are going to be trackside. It'll be an EKN Trackside Live program. Watch for tons of social media coverage throughout the weekend. And, of course, EKN radio and live coverage, all the play-by-play. We'll start on Friday with a little taste there in the final practice session, make sure everything's working well. And then, David, you and I are right back at it again, live coverage all day Saturday, all day Sunday, cap off the Pro Tour.
Exciting to see how things unfold throughout the weekend, going around that new, what was supposed to be the super mile is now going to be more than a super mile configuration that they're going to have there at Newcastle. And just to see how the things shake out for a lot of these championships. Pro Shifter is going to be pretty amazing with the top 3 right there within 25 points. You got, to see if Ryan Norberg's going to pull off the 4-peat along with Jordan Mucker as well, too. So 2 drivers going for a 4-peat. Craziness going to be happening throughout the weekend.
And then, of course, to cap things off, folks, again, more EKN Trackside Live coverage where we provide race reports, live play-by-play. David will be at the Rock Island Grand Prix, the 25th edition of that amazing event, August 31st to September 1st, the Labor Day Weekend Classic, The Rock. David will be racing as well, so it'll be one of those deals where Tim Coyan will be on the mic and David will be covering stuff, and it'll be racing as well. Are you excited, Dave? You ready to go back to some wheel-to-wheel competition?
Yeah, I wish I was racing this weekend, to be honest.
I know. I would love to as well. I hear you. I know. All right, David, that's done. Guys, appreciate you tuning in here on the EKN Radio Network once again. This has been our 12th episode of This Week in Karting. David and I will have another one. We'll try to knock one out midway through the month, so we're not waiting a month between all of these particular episodes. But we do thank you for joining us. We're done here, folks. On behalf of David Cole, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.